Hello everyone, you may or may not notice, but this is my first Overwatch video. So if you happen to be interested in the game like myself or are a newcomer to my channel, then welcome. Now, let's get into my past Overwatch. So I started back in 2016. My brother got the game for our PS4, and let's just say I fell in love with the game, but maybe not as much as he did. And early on, he would cement himself as a diamond, close to high diamond level player, and I was stuck firmly in gold. We'll skip quite a few years around 2020 when COVID hit, because let's say I, like many of you, did not have very much to do. So Overwatch, and specifically scrimming and playing tank, was probably my favorite thing to do. I would scrim in diamond lobbies, master lobbies, and eventually the prestigious rank of Grandmaster. And let's just say I hit it at the perfect time, because the time that I hit it was September of 2020. And the greatest patch to ever come out when Overwatch was just on the horizon, and jump started my love for Overwatch just again. But that's some of the points I'll be going into later, so let's talk about where Overwatch has begun to fall off for me. So, Overwatch 2 came out, and I don't need a PhD in Overwatchology to tell you that people are not very great fans of the IP anymore. Amongst scandal and destruct and valid questions if the 2 part of Overwatch 2 even matters anymore, the game is definitely in the worst state it's ever been. Every tank is the new best tank, every support is the new best support, and the 2 DPS have been, well, pretty polarizing. The game has struggled and struggled against itself to maintain some form of balance, and in a few points, will talk about how this will never really work. But we'll also give some options to still make a competitive game regardless of the failures to make all of the heroes competitive within it. The first thing I need to bring up is the 5v5 format. Season after season, and as a tank player, I have realized that this game will just never be balanced in 5v5. One person dies, the fight is over. The other tank counter swaps, the fight is over. The enemy supports counter swap, the fight is over. And yes, while these things could also happen in Overwatch 1, there was still some leeway in how much of an impact counter swapping could have. Because if you had another tank to help pick up some of the gap, like you're playing Roadhog and Ana, for example, well, a Zarya bubble, Ryan shield, Sigma Orisa shield, Diva DM, Winston jumping in, ball creating a distraction could all happen to the Ana with her not having her most important cooldown, and create a situation where despite the enemy team playing a counter swap, you could still easily win. Whereas in Overwatch 2, we just have one raid boss tank with the most overtuned and frankly stupid passives in order to try to balance the issue that they've provided patch after patch we have learned is not working. And don't get me started how bad the 6v6 patch was done dirty in the balance department. Sigma barely got changed, Ryan is weirdly overtuned, we could have just kept his quality of life pin. Season of 9 health pools are still there. We have a Sojourn that was emergency nerfed in live patch, and a freaking buff to Widow, and of course the DPS passive is still there, and they use it to justify a buff to sustain healing in characters like Kiriko. Juno Brig is still here, and even though thanks to the nerfs of Juno, Ana's still doing well, but this patch is just even worse than the one made by the fans. Why? Because Blizzard just has a massive ego about balance. They can't accept that the people who play the game and constantly are updating these patches can outdo them. But guess what? That's what's happening. Blizzard is losing because it is not able to accept that sometimes they got to admit they're wrong. Like, come on, if you want a real 6v6 test, why isn't there a ranked 6v6? Like, let's be real. In the game mode, where my account is currently top 500 on both tank and support, I play against diamond players and absolutely crush everyone. If they want real data about how their tanks work in Overwatch 2 in a real 6v6 test, they definitely need a ranked mode. And hey, kudos to the players, I still see a lot of people playing it, but the test is way worse than what a real 6v6 experience can provide. So please, Blizzard, stop sabotaging your one opportunity to prove that you can become a giant in this industry. It would be a great step towards proving you're a great company, as I know and have seen you can be. Next on up is, of course, looking at the true successor to Overwatch 1, Marvel Rivals. This game is currently outclassing Overwatch in every single field besides the system that the game runs under. The game was not made by a giant like Blizzard, but instead a Chinese mobile game company. So while Marvel Rival runs worse and has bugs like FPS affecting travel distance with some moves, it stops in every single retrospect. We'll start with hero bans, which is probably the best idea anyone has brought to the hero shooter IP, because hero bans are great in Marvel Rivals and help mitigate some of the poorly balanced heroes. In top lobbies, Hela is broken as hell, but thanks to the hero bans, we can prevent overpowered heroes from dominating every lobby. Now, let's compare that to Overwatch 2. Take a look at the leaderboard. Which DPS do you see nearly every single high level player picking? Well, right now it's kind of a toss-up, but mainly Widow and Tracer. And it's currently really hard to balance these characters because they are both really hard to be good at. Like, I'm a Master's DPS, and I'm an okay Tracer and a really bad Widow. So even I can attest to these characters not being free. But they're definitely not fair. They're everywhere in top 500 lobbies. But what if we had something to allow more DPS to be chosen? What if most of my games, I could ban Widow and Tracer, allowing more picks like Sojourn, Cassidy, Genji, etc. Well, you can see my point. Let's say with our current meta, we had 2 bans per role per team. Well, you would see things completely different from our current meta. Juno would be banned in every game, Hazard would be banned every game, Widow would be banned every game, and then from then on, it would probably be like a little bit different. You might see like Orisa, you might see Brig, you might see Ana, you might see whatever. Like, it would be pretty fun. And even in a 5v5 format, I don't think it would feel that bad if we just had hero bans. It's actually pretty funny because it feels like the only way to balance the game is just to let us do it ourselves. And that is likely why Blizzard has never let us try hero bans before, because at least balancing up to the player base, and they really do think they know better to balance the game than we do, but they don't. And Marvel Rivals has proved this more than clearly. Hero bans are great because they allow us to get rid of these overpowered characters on each role that prevent people from picking the lower tier options at the higher ranks. But speaking of ranks, there is one last topic I do want to talk about, and that is how competitive Overwatch is nowadays. And let's be honest, Overwatch just isn't as competitive of a game as it used to be. I mean, people are banned for swearing and being competitive in competitive games. Now, I don't think you should be getting mad at people for being bad in quick play, because realistically, they're just trying to have fun, but competitive is a completely different story. People should want to communicate and yell at people, then get angry, because it's a competitive game. People are going to yell, they're going to be angry, and all kind of things are just the nature of being competitive. Now, if you throw a racial slur, you should be instantly banned. I don't know why that already isn't in the game, but cussing shouldn't be a ban, especially when you can just block or mute people. And if you don't want to talk to them, like, just block or mute. Like, it's a button right there. Like, I miss the days when every one of my top 500 lobbies would calm, be super competitive, have hopes of becoming pros. Nowadays, I'm lucky if I even get one person to talk to in the voice chat. And being real, most of the time, I'm not talking in the voice chat. It's honestly really sad. So seriously, Blizzard, stop banning people for being toxic, because these toxic players are what make the game competitive. I miss the days when people actually tried to, care. In fact, sometimes I feel like I get more competitive games in gold than the ones in GM. Fuck, the GM lobbies for quick play are more competitive than the GM lobbies for ranked. Like, how does that happen? Blizzard, aren't we trying to Aaron Keller said we're trying to create the most competitive hero shooter on the market. I thought that was the goal. When are we getting that? Because clearly we do not have that right now. Anyways, realistically, I love Overwatch, and I'm now noticing and slowly my enthusiasm to play this game is going downhill. So I want to see Overwatch be made better. I want Blizzard to do something about it, because I still love Overwatch. And as much as Marvel Rivals is a great game in comparison, there's just something about Overwatch that it's the game I want to invest my time into. That's why I made this video, because I want to start making content in this game, and me wanting to enter this scene, I just want to see it be made better. There's so much like doom posting and all of this about the game, and realistically that's probably what this is, but like, I just want the game to be better. I don't want to have to do posts. Like, starting from now on, I just want to make content, just having fun in Overwatch. So, hey, if that's something you're interested in seeing, then you could see a top 500 tank player do dumb shit in gold, because that's what I'm finding fun right now instead of playing in my lobbies. So, why not consider subscribing? Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all later.